This week on the Reseller Locker Room, we welcome back a good old friend of ours and a new addition. Stick around. We've got a lot to unpack in this episode.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Reseller Locker Room. My name's Ben, the Rocky Top Picker, followed by Alex, the Bearded One. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Locker Room. Our friend and former co-host of the Locker Room, Mr. Shane Soda City Flips. And our brand new addition, please welcome Jefferson CJ Benz Fines as the newest co-host here to the Locker Room. What's happening, gentlemen?
Not a lot, man.
We got a lot to catch up on there, Shane.
Yeah, for sure. I got a question. Jefferson, is pocket change not going on anymore, or are you just doubling down?
We're gonna do the. We've been doing the pick and pass on there, so we're gonna switch over to mainly doing the pick and pass format.
Okay, cool.
I'm having trouble. I moved to Savannah, so for the last 3 weeks I didn't have internet, so I finally got it back, and then this weekend I traveled because I went back to Tampa to pick up all the small stuff so I can be a reseller, right? So that's what I'm doing.
That's cool, man. Now you're only about 2.5 hours from where I live.
There we go. We have to get together, go picking.
Yeah, man.
I wanna go up there and go check out the bins. If you ever have time, drive up there and go hit up the bins up there and see how that is in Georgia.
Yeah.
So,
man,
Shane,
Jefferson, the Peaches to the Beaches is going to be coming down by you in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's the same time they're doing that one meetup. So yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Check that out. But I'm not going. I got no time. I got no PTO. Started a new job, so.
Oh, gotcha.
well, Shane, man, you need to update us on what's been going on with you over the last 3 or 4 months or so.
Man, well,
that's a lot, ain't it?
I left the locker room because I didn't have enough time to focus on everything I needed to focus on with my business, my personal life, my family life, all that stuff, and my 9-to-5 job. And then a month and a half later, I got laid off. So I all of a sudden had a whole bunch of time again, but my wife said, why don't you try to go full time? See if you can do full-time reselling. And she, gave me a little boosted vote of confidence there. So I just ran with it, and it's been let's see, December, January, February, almost 4 months now. And I'm still making it. It's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But it's it's going. And yeah, man, just trying to do everything all at once now. I'm pushing myself to the limits. And that catches up to you.
Well, tell us about your live selling adventures.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun, man. So I've been selling over on the District app on a couple of the different Dibdit marketplaces, because they got Dibdit and then all of its stepchildren. Couple of places over there, as well as Jake's marketplace, which is firstclasstreasures.com. And then I actually created my own marketplace called the Crooked Spine. And the crookedspine.com is your new home.
Those are cool, man.
That is cool.
For sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. And click that.
That's cool.
Are you afraid? But yeah, so yeah, we're selling sci-fi, fantasy, and horror books over there. Getting ready to kick off live shows with a big giveaway on Thursday this week. The day this video drops, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alex will be there. Keith, Vintage Sport Flips, will be there. Of course, I'll be there, and a few other sellers that are over there on the marketplace. But yeah, it's cool. It's been fun. I bought out that reseller a couple of months ago, and I ended up with a ton of stuff that I knew was worth some money, but I didn't want to put in my eBay store because it was slow selling stuff. And I've just been moving all of that over there, man, and it's been doing really well.
I mean, you did eBay for like 2 months before you started doing live selling, right?
Yes.
So what did you notice as far as full time? And that really added a lot to what you're making per month doing the live selling.
Yeah, I'll tell you, December was almost $7,000 in sales for me
Nice.
on eBay, which is amazing for me because you guys know my 90-day total has always been under $6,000, like between 5 and 6. And all of a sudden, I was at 8, and then 9, and then 10, and then 12, and 13, and 14, and those numbers are absolutely amazing. But January and February were the slowest months I've since I started reselling, but I also wasn't full time. You know, how can I word this? Last year and the year before, I wasn't full time, so I didn't notice how bad January and February were because I had a full time job. But this year, depending on that income to come through, it was a lot tougher to get through January and February. And where eBay was failing for me, not necessarily failing, but it had slowed down. The live selling took the place of that income and helped me get through those 2 months. So I I grind every single day on eBay, and it just wasn't paying off for me. So thankfully, yeah, I shout out to Kevin Commonwealth Picker. He reached out to me and he's like, "Man, we'd love to have you selling over here on Dibdit." This was before they had all their little sister channels or whatever. And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it a shot." And my first show, I did, I don't know, 200 and something bucks in an hour. And I was like, "Okay, I could get used to this."
Mhm.
I had a few shows that have gone over 400. I had a couple that were below 100. I didn't have good things, or no offense to anybody else in the YouTube world that sells over there, but certain people, it's very, very difficult to keep people in your show if they're running a show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Days like that, it's a struggle, but regardless, I'm having fun. I've made I started selling over there in January, and I'm at around 6,000 in sales so far
Now,
between
Shane,
marketplaces.
do you do a set number of shows per week, or what is your goal to get that cha-ching amount of money that you're really needing? How many shows are you having to put forth a week to do that?
I've been doing 2 to 3 a week, just because I have time to do them. Um, they do like Marketplace, First Class Treasures. He does raid trains like 3 times a week, and I generally try to get in on 1 or 2 of those, but I also like to do my own thing sometimes, like on a Sunday night. I'm usually the only one that has a show on Sundays. But I try to do at least 2. But I also do Keith invited me to do cards with him over on Dibdit Cards. So every Wednesday, I'm usually over there with him running a card show. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that's a co-host. So with the co-host, you're selling half as much as you would if you were by yourself. But
Yeah.
it's fun, the banter and going
Yeah.
back and forth with each other and stuff. That I really enjoy that part of it.
Now,
Are you selling non-sports cards though during the live? I
Yeah,
haven't caught. Okay.
non-sports. Yep.
I don't even think I'm following that one. That's why I haven't got one of those shows. So I need to follow the card one too.
Jefferson, or do you think you're going to jump into some live selling?
I don't know. I'm probably might try it because I have I don't have a lot of space, and the bins are here, so I'm going to try. Probably not this weekend, but next weekend, go in there and see what I can get, and then see if they have good clothes or
Well,
no.
for what you were telling me before we recorded, you do have a lot of shoe boxes laying around.
I do. I do have shoe boxes. I like to keep them. They're not good for shipping. Most of them have cutouts
Yeah.
and stuff. But
It's good to put on a little play in your lap, is what
there you go.
what you've told me.
You
But anyhow,
My
Be
gosh.
part of my live selling. All right. Hello. I get banned.
sorry, I had to bring that up, man. But anyway, it's called Pee Wee's Playhouse, ladies and gentlemen. If you've not seen that series, you need to go check out Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Yeah,
Oh my
no,
god.
it's Mr. Winky's Happy Hour. I mean,
Okay,
yeah, look
Wee
it up.
Wee's
It's on there. It's
Wee
out there.
Wee's Playhouse.
man. Well, Shane, here's the question. We've asked plenty of other guests this question. You're in both worlds. You're in eBay, which is static sales, and you're in live selling.
Yep.
Based on results you've been getting from both avenues, what do you feel like? In speaking of those two areas of reselling, what do you think is going to be the dominant way of reselling in the future? Do you think it's shifting to live selling because people do live selling on TikTok and so many other platforms? What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's going to be room for both. I think eBay is still going to be number one for most people, but there's a huge market out there for live selling if you're sourcing the right things. Take Dave for instance. He's going through his eBay inventory, selling it all now, and a lot. He's doing really well, but the shipping is kicking his ass because he's selling large items. Um, and this happened to me, for instance. I had a plushie. It was a big one. It weighed like 6 pounds. I don't know if you guys remember. You're old enough to remember. Disney and Michael Jackson collaborated with Lucasfilms back in the day in 1986, I think it was, and made a 17-minute long musical space movie. Anyways, one of the main characters was this little elephant alien by the name of Captain, what the heck was his name? Captain Hooter, I think it was, or maybe just Hooter. But that plush sells on eBay for like $70. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give somebody a shot at getting a really good deal on this thing. The person who bought it lived in freaking Puerto Rico.
Oh man.
So this plush was, I mean, it's a good 2.5 feet and it's stout. It's not some flimsy little thing. I put it in the smallest box I could, and I mean shoved and crunched. It was still a 11 by 11 by 11 box to Puerto Rico. I charged large shipping of $12 for a large item, and then I was doing $3 for each additional large. Well, that's the only thing this person bought, and this is where it bites you in the butt. Shipping that 11 by 11 by 11 box to Puerto Rico cost a hell of a lot more than $12.
Oh
Thankfully,
Yeah.
thankfully, with one of the things nobody talks about on Whatnot makes all the extra money from the shipping. On District, you, the seller, make all the extra money on the shipping. So most of the time, you're going to make a few bucks here and there, and it kind of evens out on the ones you screwed up and somebody in Oregon bought your item, and they paid, just say, they paid $6 for a small item. If it's over 8 ounces, it's more than $6 to ship from South Carolina to Oregon. So you just kind of have to do some math and figure it out, how you're going to do it. But you can lose money on shipping if you're not careful, just because you don't know where your buyers live, until
Yeah.
you go to print that label out. And Dave, I think he mentioned on their podcast today that he had somebody buy a couple of what he deemed extra large items, and the guy or gal paid like 50 something dollars in shipping, and it cost Dave 114 something, he said.
Oh, man.
So that's that you get to make all the extra money when you do make money, but at the same time you got to eat that cost when you screw up. So you got to really pay attention to what you're doing over there.
What are you finding that sells the best over on Dibdit, or not just Dibdit, just District and live selling in general? What do you have the best?
For me personally, the best shows I've done have been clothing shows.
Yeah,
Oddly enough, yeah, people like to buy clothes over there.
that's crazy.
I've
That's
sold
the first show I'm doing is going to be a clothing show, which I find funny. The book guys and I sell clothes, but they reached out to me because they know I go to the Goodwill bins and I can get clothes, all the time. So
Yeah.
found a good amount just in a week of sourcing to do a couple shows probably at this point.
Well,
So
and that's something I'm trying to incorporate into my business model is going to the bins more often now,
Yeah.
since I am having so much fun. If I wasn't having fun over there, I'd just be done with it. But it's actually fun. Like I'm meeting new people.
Yeah.
Those new people are coming to my YouTube channel and subscribing, and it's just been a lot of fun. I'm making new friends, hanging out with people. The co-streams are fun. It really is a good time over there. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't do it, because I'm having to think outside the box. How am I going to source, for district, on top of what I'm trying to source for eBay? You know what I mean? So, but it is fun. I'll give them that. I'm having a blast over there.
So on eBay, you can set your parameters like you don't want to ship to Puerto Rico or blah, blah, blah. You can't do that with these live selling. You can't set your limits on where you'll ship to, or can you?
You can turn off Canada. I don't
Yeah.
think there's international shipping outside of Canada, but I don't think, and if there is a way, I haven't figured it out yet. Of course, I haven't asked either. I'm not sure if you can turn off like the military bases and Puerto Rico and Alaska and places like that, because if they're in the continental United States and Puerto Rico and Alaska, so far those sales have been coming through, but it's only bitten me in the butt once, so I'm not, and I made enough money on the shipping to cover it on other stuff, so it worked itself out. But I don't know if there's a way to actually turn those off like you can on eBay. I know you can do Canada because I've literally seen the little button to turn Canada on and off.
That's all I've
Okay.
seen is Canada.
Yeah.
I don't even think Canada's. Are they even taking mail anymore? Weren't they still on strike?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
I
if
think
they
the
are or not.
strike's over, but
Is it over?
yeah.
Okay.
But I think they put a tariff on us. So
Jefferson, when you went home last weekend, did you get a bunch of your smalls and bring them back?
I did. I brought back all my belt buckles and I have like a bunch of stuff I hadn't listed yet. Some couple of comic books I bought when I first started. Never even opened the boxes. They were in the. I knew where they were. And then I had. I like to sell keychains. I buy big bulk keychains and then put 25 together and sell them for $25. They sell really good. And like 6 months ago, I lotted up like 100 of them and then put them in a box, and then I couldn't find them. So that's probably about half the time I spent in Tampa was looking for this. I know it's here. I know it's here. And I had put it into a tote and then covered it with other stuff. So I've got, in the garage down the aisles, I've got these rollers that hold these totes that when I worked in California, when I moved, instead of using boxes, they were throwing out 2 pallets of these plastic totes with lids that flip down and you can stack them. And then when I was working in Tampa, they were throwing out the rollers. So you can get 6 of them stacked up on this roller. So down my aisles in between my racking, I have like 6 sets of those. So I went through them the first time. I was like, yeah, there's not in there. And then I looked the whole, and then I went back through them, and it was second to the last tote. They were in there. So
I got a keychain to send you.
yes, I saw that keychain for Savannah. I will put it on my key ring. So that's cool.
Really, the first thing I found in the bins out of books was a Savannah keychain, and then I found a big old Georgia map. It was weird that I kept seeing all this Georgia stuff after we recorded the show with you.
It's like when you buy a new car and you're like, oh yeah, and then you see that car all the time, right? So yeah, it's there's something behind that. So, but yeah, I got a bunch of stuff, and then I got back here late on Sunday, carried 2 boxes up the stairs. Like, oh, I'll do this Monday. And now it's Tuesday, and I still only carry 2 boxes up the stairs. So I got to empty the car so I can go buy shelves. So that way I can put shelves in here to put the stuff on. But I was going to bring shelves, and then I realized that they were only like $40, and 2 shelves would took up half the car. So I'm like, oh, I'll just buy new shelves. So behind me the next week, this should be all. I'm going to take all this fancy furniture that I have in here that I'm not using. I'm going to stack it in the corner, and I'm going to shelve out this room. And then I figured next to the bed, it's a small apartment I'm renting. Next to the bed on both sides, I can get 2 sets of shelves, and there's a closet where I think I can get 2 shelves. So I think I can get like maybe 10 shelves in here. Yeah,
that should work.
those stack
Yeah.
up ones. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out how to go from 3,000 square feet and a 2-car garage or a 3-car garage plus 2 storage units to 600 square feet and be a reseller. So
Dang.
it's a new
I would
world.
I would think the belt buckles might do good for live shows, though. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I sold a bunch of belt buckles.
Good. I
in
have a
one of-
bunch of duplicates and stuff too.
One of my very first shows I did on, matter of fact, it was the first show I did on Jake's Marketplace, First Class Treasures. I did just kind of like a random assortment of things, and I had, I think, like 9 belt buckles, and they were all selling well. I'm sure you guys have seen the name Texas Lady all over YouTube. She's a big supporter of a lot of channels, but she was buying them left and right, man. They were getting in these little bidding wars. It was awesome.
Or maybe I'll try that online selling. I also have belts. One of the companies that I buy from was a tattoo company, that sells tattoo equipment, and they sell belt buckles. Well, right before, maybe a month before I moved, they decided to get out of the belt buckle business. So they took all their belt buckles and just lotted them up into lots of 10 for $6. So no, it was 12 for $6. So it ended up being 50 cents a piece for the belt buckles. And then they had leather belts that you can, because if you look at most belts now, you can't pop the 2 buttons and put a belt buckle on it. They had a bunch of those belts. So I always wanted to buy them. They were like $6 a piece wholesale. They ended up dropping them down to $1. So I bought
Crap.
crap ton of them. So I bought, and then I realized if I spent $500, I got free shipping, and the shipping's not cheap because it's heavy. So I ended up buying lots of belts and lots of belt buckles. So
sounds like you're set up to do live selling. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Connection.
Hey, you want a belt with that?
Yeah, you got you can upsell with the belt.
Yeah.
You have the
So is
connection to sell belt buckles too.
is there product restrictions what you can and cannot sell on these live platforms?
I haven't noticed anything yet. I've sold knives last night, so that was cool.
Well, for example, lawn darts.
Lawn darts.
I mean,
Did you
I'm
find
not
some?
saying I wouldn't try it.
I just
I
didn't
mean-
know if there was, hey, eBay's got this section you can go to, what you can sell, what you can. I didn't know if these selling platforms, those live platforms, have got a list of no items.
The craziest stuff I sold was Alex was in the show when I had those Trump
Comments
hats and
were
stuff.
great on that. That was a great show. Great show.
Yeah, it was. So Ben, let me tell you what happened. So I used to do woodworking, and I would make custom cornhole boards for people. Well, I met a guy via Facebook Marketplace who had a CNC router, and I would have him cut logos and stuff like sports logos, things like that. Then I'd epoxy different colors, finish them off, and sell them. Well, this guy continued to grow his business with his CNC router. He ended up buying a laser engraver, and then he bought another one, and he's been making all this custom stuff. Like he would make the tumblers and stuff all laser engraved, tons of things. And he would go to these vendor shows and set up and sell his stuff. Well, he's getting out of it because he is upgraded once again, and now he's marketing himself to corporations and stuff and doing their merch and swag and stuff for them. So he hit me up and he's like, dude, I got a ton of stuff left over from last year. If you want it, come get it. Ben, I picked up 13 of those black and yellow totes. 13, I filled the Jeep up, came home, went back to get the rest of it. Like full of free inventory.
Wow.
And there was hats in there, right? And they had leather patches. They were Richardson 112 trucker hats, leather
Nice
patches.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of them said like they had like a picture of Trump on it, and it said, "I voted for the felon 2024."
One guy in the chat was so triggered, man. He was so.
Oh yeah. Somebody on my YouTube was super pissed.
Oh
that I
really?
was selling Trump hats. Yeah. But I thought it was hilarious, and I questioned. I was like, I don't know if I should run this stuff because people are so freaking get agitated when you start doing anything that has to do with politics. But I was like, you know what? Screw it. I don't care. I'm gonna run them and see what happens. they loved them. Absolutely loved them. One Trump hat went for like $18, and I got $0 in this stuff, so it was absolutely amazing. I sold one. I sold one hat that had a picture of a wiener
Yeah.
engraved on it,
Didn't
and it
Anthony
said,
get those?
"My owner beats me."
Didn't Anthony
like
buy
that.
that?
Yeah,
I think
Anthony bought it.
it.
And here's the best part of it. This is on Jake's platform. I don't think Kevin would have let me run any of this stuff on his. But this was Jake's platform, and Jake was dying. He was bidding on all of it. Like, he thought it was the greatest thing ever. He messaged me afterwards. He sent me a text, and he's like, "Dude, that was awesome." So
Yeah, it was really fun.
it was a lot of fun. It was unexpected, but I've sold some pretty weird stuff on there, and nobody seemed to care.
Oh, wow.
Sell the inappropriate stuff on the Mormon guys channel, huh?
Yeah. That's the funniest part about it.
Yeah.
It was on Jake's marketplace, and he's very, very religious guy. It was amazing.
Well,
Wow.
what's been going on with YouTube? Because I know the real reason you left our podcast was to follow your rap career, and then you didn't put out a new video. Like, what the heck happened, man?
Yeah.
I know.
Where's the rap videos?
I don't even see my notebook. I have my notebook. It's in this room somewhere. But I do have new lyrics. But I haven't written enough. I still got to write something, and I'm glad I didn't, because now that Camporelli's got his new channel, I can work that into, because he paid. He gave me I think it was a $50 or $100 super chat to add him into the next diss track video. So I've got to do it. The man paid for it, so I've got to do it. But I just haven't sat down and actually figured out who all I'm gonna put in there and stuff. But
You can't.
yeah, I
diss
need to get
Mike,
on that.
though. How are you gonna diss
He
Mike?
dude, he texted me. He's like, "Man, don't hold back," blah blah blah. He wants me to give it to him, so we'll see
That's
what
awesome.
happens. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. So since I did lose my job, you guys know Alex and I were both kind of not consistent with our YouTube channels there for a long time. And I was doing maybe a video every other month, and then I always did my live show. Well, since I lost my job, I was like, well, I got nothing but time now. So I do my live show on Mondays, and every Tuesday and Friday there's a new video.
Yeah, you
So,
just recently started doing twice a week, right?
yeah, I started that back in, it was either right at the end of December or the 1st of January, but I've been putting out 2 videos a week plus the live show.
Okay. Have you noticed a difference in growth, or like I was gonna
Yes.
mess because I had one video that was started to take off, and then I had another one edited, but I was scared to put it out because I thought it was gonna take away from the last one. Have you noticed that when one video is taken off and then you drop another one and then it kind of kills the views on the last one?
No, and I've also wondered about with the live shows, because I stream my live shows over on the District app, and I wondered, should I be doing that? Is it going to kill the views on my video? So, say for instance, I had a video drop this morning. If I go live on District tomorrow and stream that to my YouTube channel, I was stressing, is that going to hurt the video I just put out? But so far, it hasn't seemed to matter at all.
Okay,
In my
so
videos, since I've been consistent, I'm over 3,400 subs now. I've gained a couple hundred subs in the past 2 months, and my views went from 150 to 250 per video to right around 1,000 every video. So
Nice.
it's the consistency. YouTube clearly likes that because they're pushing
Yeah.
my videos out more. So
I've been doing once a week and I've been pretty consistent. I want to try to do 2 a week too. So I don't know. You caught my last video where I talked about I still have all the 127. I'm like, guys, it's only a year late.
yeah,
You start
You're
putting
like,
out
it's
127.
gonna start coming out.
Yeah.
a year late.
I mean, I put out 2 of those yard selling videos and they're all from the first day, and I recorded every day we were there. So I have a ton of footage if I chop it up like that too,
Yep.
Jefferson, you may have mentioned this when we had you on before, that you used to do stand up.
Yes, I did stand up for years. I took
I
a job in
didn't know that.
California. I was going to go out there, and I thought I was going to be famous. And when I moved to California, I was 31, and then I started going out, and I met, I lived in Roanoke, Virginia, and I used to do stand up all the time. And before that, I did it in Delaware and Philly and stuff like that. But then when I moved out there, I'm like, this is going to be my shot. And then I got out there and realized I'm funny. I am funny, and I can think of funny things. But I met a lot of people that were hilarious that had been doing it for 20 years, and they're still doing it for like $42 a night.
Wow.
I'm going to keep working my day job where I was making really good money and do it as a hobby. So I used to go out like 2 or 3 nights a week and do open mics.
Well,
I also found out that they wanted a 25-year-old who looked like he was 18. I was 31 and I looked like I might have been 35. Right? Didn't age well, but it's all right. I'm good with it.
well, to honor that, I was just thinking today, we're all the time discussing, hey, let's get some new segments and let's explore some different things. So what I'm going to deem you, and you don't have to come up with one now unless you can think of one, but you're going to bring to the locker room this week's inappropriate joke of the week.
Every joke he does is inappropriate.
Well, that's why I say you might as well call a spade a spade. It's inappropriate.
I know,
I thought
the time I was trying to find a new hobby and I took up gardening, and this rat thing ran up my leg and bit me and ran away. Turns out I got molested. Kind of inappropriate.
I thought your career was taking off, but then you did your puppet show, and then no one booked you after that.
You got to do that. You got to have fun, right? So I keep shoe boxes. No, I probably shouldn't pull it out, but I like to put it on, and do.
Yeah, don't pull it out.
No, there's not enough room. No, I'm just kidding.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I will make a segment slide for you, and then you can do like a 2 or 3 minute routine.
I'll do a routine. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Depending on what guests we have in. I don't think we should do it next week.
Yeah.
Maybe if we don't book a guest and then we throw that.
So if you have a guest that you're worried about, just do the appropriate one and tell me, and I'll do an appropriate joke.
Do you have any of those?
I don't think so.
We've
spent a lot. Hey, listen, we've spent a lot of time with this guy.
Yeah, I got problems. I mean, but you know what? I'm okay.
Damn right you are.
It took 3 women to find one that stuck around, right? So it'll work.
For those of you watching, the 4 of us spent a great amount of time in the Airbnb at last year's 127 sale, and so it was a fun time. But anyway,
it was a great time.
It was.
All right.
And then I got to see Jefferson again down in Florida.
I know. We got to hang out and then go to Dave's sale. That was fun.
Yep.
That's
and
cool.
then we did some yard selling. That was a good time.
All right, man. I got 1 pair of those jeans left, buddy. They've been selling.
That's cool. Hey, that guy had a great deal. I'm like, I'm buying them. I'm like, hey, you want? They're yours. If not, I'll take them.
Yeah, for what it was $4 a pair for 15 pairs, Ben, and I've been selling them. I got 1 pair left, $32 a piece.
I was with you when you got all them. What those blue?
This was down in Florida.
Oh, in Florida. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, I know you bought a lot of jeans in Crossville.
Yeah, all those new
tell you-
tags Carhartts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So
Yeah.
If I'd have kept them, they'd still be in my garage because I have shit tons of. I mean, I have all this clothing. I don't like to sell clothes. So I like to buy clothes. And I have there was a thrift store in Tampa that on Mondays they would take everything from the week before a certain color and make it $1. So I just run through there and grab all the jeans for $1. So I have like 200 pair of women's jeans, and they're all good. I didn't buy like Faded Glory or whatever. I bought all good name ones. They're in my storage unit. I've got so much stuff in that storage unit.
I love
$400 a month. I got to make $400 a month to pay for the storage units. So that's my goal.
And that's expensive, dude.
It is. I might move it up here. I got a $7,000 moving thing, so I can. I figured out I can rent a rider truck to get about half of it for like $1,800. But then storage units are cheaper here, so I'll just move from one storage unit to the other.
There you go.
But I can move it up here and do live selling and get rid of it.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
All right. let's get these out of the way, gentlemen. Let's talk about if anybody's got a sale of the week you'd like to share. You can bring forth the profits.
I got one right here. Beat the Market. See that? This is like a vintage book about the market, stock market, first edition, hardcover. I had this listed for $380. It sells once a year over on Amazon, and it can sell. The buy box right now on Amazon is $250. It has gone up to $400, but someone sent me an offer on eBay for $250, and I'm like, I'll just take the $250 now. They can make $250. They want to sit on the book for a year on Amazon, you know.
Yeah.
Or they're a collector themselves and they just wanted the book at a better deal. So $250 for a $1 book.
Yep.
Beat the Market. I'm gonna have to keep my eye out on that.
Yeah, great find.
I don't have a. Oh, sorry. What?
Oh no, I'm just saying I've had it listed for a while, so I'm just finally take the money and
Oh, absolutely. I don't have a picture, but yesterday I sold some golf clubs that I bought when Jefferson and I were down in Florida. Kevin sold me a pile of golf clubs for $120, and I've made so much freaking money from that buy, over and over and over again. But I just sold. There was not a full set of Ping I2 irons, but I think it was 6 or 7 clubs. It was missing one, and I sold it yesterday for 90 plus shipping. I believe it was
good. That's good.
Yep. So
anyone, you guys sell over there on that side of the screen? You guys sell anything?
I
know
yeah, go ahead.
I know he's on hold or his store.
I'm on vacation until Saturday.
Sold a couple more presidents, Eisenhower and I forget what the other one was. Lyndon Johnson.
Are those still averaging?
those are pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I like those. I thought those were cool. I wish I could come across a collection like that. I thought those were super cool, man.
$34.99 a piece. I got $3.90 in each one of them, and there's 141.
Yeah, when he bought those and showed me, I thought it was the worst buy ever, and he proved me wrong on those ones. Because I was like, "Hey, there's literally no sold comps on them." I'm like, "Really?
They're unique."
What do you have into those, if you don't mind, Ben?
141 of them, and I got $3.90 a piece in each one of them.
Nice. Heck yeah, man! You're gonna kill it on that deal.
I mean, some of them, are so realistic they look exactly like the presidents. I mean, the detail on the clothing. I mean, I was thrilled. I found them on Facebook Marketplace.
That's killer, man.
I drove about 40 minutes away to go get them, and I thought, man, not seen anything like this. And there's some on eBay, but they're in boxes, but they didn't look exactly like the ones I have. So I thought, well, even if it takes a little bit, I'll probably end up, doing $3-4 grand out of this when they all roll through. So
heck yeah, dude.
Yep. But that was mine. Okay.
I found a doll too. It's my creepy find of the week. It's actually given to me, but I went and took a trip to Alabama, which here between Tennessee and Alabama we go through Amish country, and I found this doll. It is an Amish doll.
Did he froze?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's a voodoo doll. That's why he
just went out.
Oh, there you go.
I can hear you.
Am I live? You guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
There you go. Now you're back. Show us your faceless doll.
Oh, I cut out for a second there. My internet was weird. It's going in and out. Anyways, faceless doll. My daughter didn't want it because she thought it was too creepy. So I guess
it's creepy.
It is pretty creepy.
The Amish don't believe that you can't take their picture, right? Because they think it steals their soul. So that's why they have dolls with no faces, something like that.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I thought that was American Indians that believed that.
I don't know. That the Amish won't let you take their picture. I know when I was a kid, we used to set up. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and we used to set up at the flea markets. And there was an Amish guy who had his little horse there, and he sold all these jellies and stuff. But whenever it rained, his wife would pick him up in a van, and so he wasn't really Amish. So he'd let the people take pictures of him, and then the other Amish people didn't like him because he was faking it. He was actually, I think, Mennonite or something. But
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a lot of Mennonites down here in the country.
It's actually hand numbered, number 83. It's like signed and hand numbered.
that's
I don't know.
cool.
They sell for like $20, $15 online on eBay. So I guess I'll throw it on
That's
there.
cool.
It's an interesting
We
find.
want to. We always want to take time in every show to thank our paid monthly subscribers here to the Locker Room, our MVP members, which is the $4.99 a month level. Mr. Mike Camparelli, ambassador to the Locker Room. Him and Mary McQueen have got a great YouTube channel, Metco Meetups. Learn about all the reselling events going on all across the country. You can go check that out on YouTube. Keith from Vintage Sports Flips also has a mighty YouTube presence. And he does great live selling shows, and Shane can tell you more about that too. But then we want to thank Rick in Maryland. Rick in Maryland, that's our MVP members. Now our Skybox members, $9.99 a month. Wolfman Goodies, also on YouTube, Trash to Cash Podcasts on YouTube, Flipping for Laughs, Mary McQueen, Good Water Pickers on YouTube, and Captain Morgan Riverboat Adventures, the Pocket Change Reselling Podcast, and our good buddy Chris EZ Pickens. We want to thank them at $9.99 a month. You get access to early viewings of the shows, any backstage footage, or when we go on picks, we'll upload that footage for private viewing of our members, and it's easy to join. Just hit the join button down below. Pick the level that suits you, and we'd love to have you aboard the Locker Room. All right. So Alex, you got a comment? I think you had one, right?
Since you mentioned the Riverboat Adventure, he did leave a comment and said, I do not have a Riverboat tour. I have a silly YouTube channel, and we kayak the local river here in Missouri and drink some and record videos as a pirate.
Nice.
So laugh aloud. I'm a full-time reseller and love watching your videos. Keep up the great entertainment. So I told him, well, you have to start a riverboat tour company now because Ben really wants to go. That was my reply to that one.
Yes.
And,
Well, it's literally in his name. You got to do it.
Yes.
Being forced to do it.
Yeah.
Ever since he joined Riverboat Adventures. Yeah, ever since he joined, that whole saying just fascinated me, and I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Pirates of the Caribbean tour or something.
Yeah.
I got another one, and it's his first show. Now he's an official member, and he's already getting hate. So good job, Jefferson.
All right.
We got one from Reality Smacks You. What? Oh my gosh. Okay, now I'm a major cat lover. I'm not. I may not like CJ Ben Fines anymore. So
just to clarify, I have 3 cats. I have 2 cats that are like 10 years old that are old, and then we just got a new cat, which is a Maine Coon. He's 6 months old, and he is bigger than the 10-year-old cats. He's massive. When I was back there this weekend, he must weigh probably 18 pounds, and he's 7 months old. He's going to end up being a massive, like 40-inch cat. So
wow.
My wife loves cats, and if it was up to her, we'd have a couple of them. But I'm highly allergic to them. But Maine Coon are hypoallergenic.
Yes,
I tried to tell her, like, you could get one of them if you want.
That's a big putty cat.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
They're fun, and they act like it doesn't act like a cat. I mean, I played fetch with him when I was home. Right, he brings it back to you. He drops it. He goes after it, and then he sleeps like on his back with his hands up. I mean, it doesn't. He's an interesting cat.
They are gorgeous too, man.
I'm looking these things up. That it's like the world's largest cat.
Yeah, it's the world's largest cat.
Little lions.
Yeah. My wife would love to have a lion or a tiger, but we're not going to be those weird people that get eaten by our pet.
Well, what's that cat breed that's got real short legs? I mean, they're like almost on the ground.
I don't know. Yeah, I've seen them.
I don't know about that. That sounds funny though.
Or the weird ones have no hair. They're weird too.
Yeah, the hairless cats. They look like a ball sack.
Yeah.
They look
Dr.
like those things look
Evil.
like aliens, man.
Yeah.
Dr. Evil. And that
Yep.
Yeah. My
skin was
cat, he's gonna, and his dad, the sire of my cat, is like 35 pounds, and he's like 49 inches long. So
Now,
he's gonna be big.
did you have to pay up for that cat, or was it from a breeder?
Yes, we paid $3,400 for our cat, and signed a
wow.
contract for our
More than
next
my
one
Frenchie.
that is coming in 2026.
I
From
paid
his sister.
$3,500 for a Neapolitan Mastiff puppy once.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you know what? I wouldn't. I mean, I did that while I wasn't even working. I didn't have a job. We already, and my wife really wanted that cat. So when your wife makes more money than you just have to say yes, ma'am. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got a new cat. We used to have a big one and it passed away, but then we have a small little one. I might need to get one of these big Mancoon cats. Those look cool.
they are
They are
cool.
cool,
They're
man.
super cool cats, and they really are different than a cat. I mean, they don't act like a cat. And he's like, we had these two cats forever, Mr. Gray and Merlot. Merlot still looks like a kitten. She never grew up. She's little, and Mr. Gray, he's like a 15-pound cat. So he's a big cat. So he's always been like, and then I have a female dog, and he's always been in charge of the house. He doesn't know how to deal with this. So the kitten showed up, was much smaller than him, and he would hold him down by his neck and mess with him. Now he's getting bigger than him. I asked the wife, I said, how are they getting along? She's like, oh yeah, Mr. Gray's super nice to him. And like when he comes up to eat, he just moves away from the dish. So he's realized he's not cock of the walk no more. So
Huh. Reseller cat rescue show.
yeah,
That cat must eat a lot of food though.
he does. We have to feed him, goat's milk. He's got to have his goat's milk so he gets his vitamins, and then he eats like 3 cans of food a day, plus grazes on dry food.
Dang.
At this point, you want to just feed him as much as he wants because you don't want to restrict his growth. So
Yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our segment of Kitty Talk. All right, let's go to our community huddle. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got one for us, and I'll have to read it right off my phone. I don't have a slide. It says, what are you guys doing about USPS not scanning in packages when they pick them up? The last 3 months, I've gone from 0 late shipments to 10, all because they pick up the packages and don't get scanned in for 2 or 3 days. eBay always says we will remove these in 24 hours, but they never go away. I'm almost at 1% late shipment right now. I had 7 go out yesterday and still nothing.
Now, can't you
What do you
print up a packing slip where you can scan it or something? They're leaving. It sounds like they're leaving them to get picked up at the front of their house, right? Instead of
Well,
taking
they're doing a pickup at wherever they're located, and when the postman comes around, they're just picking them up, and then I guess when they take them back to the post office, they get thrown in a pile, and it's 2 or 3 days later before they get scanned into the system, and that's causing this seller to get all this penalties for late shipment. My suggestion would be forget the pickup, take the shit to your post office by yourself every day if you have to, and get guaranteed scans.
6-pack of beer and set it on top of them. Hey, that would probably help. I always
please scan all of them.
Yeah, please scan, and there'll be 6 more. Or what I do is I take mine to the station, and I use one of those. There's like 3 places where I lived, and I found the one here that has a station where you can go in and scan it yourself. So I always do the initial scan. If you use one of those stations that does the initial scan, eBay it will accept that as the initial scan.
Okay.
That way you don't have to wait in line, because a lot of times when I go to wait in line, forget that.
Yeah.
Well, my post office is here. Neither one of them have one of those little kiosks. The UPS store does, and I always use it. But the post office doesn't. But I don't have pickup services. I could get it. I choose not to. I'm like, Ben, take them, scan them in if you want, drop them off if you want. Some like my little post office here in my town that's 5 minutes from me. There's one lady working inside at the counter, and if it's a bad day, I'm second in line when I get there.
That's good.
And she's awesome. Like every time I drop off, I had to take one of those big rolling carts from them one day. I filled up the entire back of my wife's car and took it in there, and I knew she was going to scan them all. But a bigger post office, I would just, if I had that many, I would wait because there's something's going to happen. I just know it. But I suggest carrying them in yourself, handing them
Yeah.
over.
It would only take one shipment for me to not get scanned in if I were doing home pickup, to just learn not to do it anymore, but to keep going with it, and it's still being late. I mean, just fit it into your schedule to go to the post office. Make sure you get them scanned. I'm a proponent of getting that receipt. I've done videos on that. But anyway, that would be Alex. What you deliver every day, don't you?
I went to the post office twice a day. So yeah, I wait in line, but they have two guys and then they have a big bucket in the middle, and I usually throw them in there, and they don't scan them right away. Higher end stuff, like today, I shipped off four books of all Eastern Press, and I wanted to make sure I had a receipt, so I waited in line to get that box, scanned in. And anything
Heck
over
yeah.
$100, I always wait to get a receipt. So they're pretty good about scanning them that night. They should be scanned into the system. I dropped them off earlier, so they should be good. There's been a few times where customers have asked, "Hey, it hasn't been scanned in," and then I was like, "Hey, just wait, give it a second," and then it's usually the next day. But if it was like 3 days and they weren't scanning it in and it was hurting my account, then I would wait in line and I would get everyone scanned.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Got to do what you got to do. So I've heard people talking about printing up some sort of label on UPS where they don't have to scan everyone and they just scan whatever you're shipping off that day. I'm not sure if you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know how to do that though. So
You got to print bulk labels. If you print bulk labels on eBay, it'll
okay.
print out a bulk label sheet. I did that like twice, but the problem is you have to wait and ship everything at one time. Otherwise, you end up with multiple bulk label sheets. So I didn't do that. And I agree. If it's over $100, I would wait in line. So
Yeah, I did that today. So that's some good sales. I actually did 9 just on eBay. 4 days did 920. I was pretty happy with that. Some good
Heck
book
yeah.
sales. I sold that first edition I was telling you about, the Botchman books, for $80,
Yep.
the paperback. So I have another
Nice.
one too. So I got 2 of them.
That's cool.
the only
Oh, you
other
got
thing I can
another
think of
one?
for that person, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but if you are adamant on not wanting to go to the post office, then change your handling time. If you're doing same day shipment or 1 day shipment and it's taking a day or two, go to 3 day shipment. And I played with that on my account. When I went to selling full time for a while I didn't have a job, I don't know that I sold any more for like the first 2 months. I did same day shipment, so I thought I would, and you get that extra like 10% of whatever it cost you. So if it's a $3 fee, you get 30 cents back. So I don't know you really save anything there, but go to 3 day shipment. And I really didn't see a degradation in my sales between 1 day and 3 day.
That's a good point. You can change your handling time. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just do 2 days. So I don't want the pressure of the 1 day. You know what I mean?
I've always been 1 day. Always.
I thought it was 10 minutes.
Well, yeah. It could be 10 minutes sometimes.
Depending
know a guy
if you pre-prep, huh?
pre-prep. Yes. Be prepared at all times. Well, I'll tell you, that's all I've got, folks. So
All right.
I got nothing. Ben's got nothing.
yeah, Alex, you need to get that internet bugged out, brother.
Yeah, you all blurry.
Yeah.
I need
I'm
to get
blurry.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're blurry.
It's showing on StreamYard that it's got like 1 bar, and usually I have to sign out and jump back in for it to fix it. So I didn't want to just do that though. So
Does it correct itself though? Like when you go to put the video out or no? Like mine,
Yeah.
when I do that, sometimes we get blurry, but it uploads, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this is a new problem that I'm having, and they came out to work on the internet. So
Hey, we want to remind you kids, Nashville meetup, April, what, Alex? 25,
20,
26, 27?
yeah, 25th through the 27th.
Yes, in
Probably got that
April
wrong.
in Nashville. Make plans. Come on down. It's free. And Alex just pooped the chute. You just got to pay to get there and a place to stay. We're going to have a lot of folks coming out. I think
And you
we've
found a
got,
place that's cheap, right? You might be, accosted, but that's good.
yeah,
Did I fix it?
yeah.
Yes.
They went away.
Much-
Oh.
So
better.
Alex said if you don't have a place to stay, you can stay at his house. So ladies and gentlemen, if you need some room and board, Alex will be providing that to
You said
you.
you pop a tent for him. I don't know what that meant, but
He's gonna be he's gonna be building book forts.
Yeah,
There you go.
for Matt.
Yes,
Matt
you can
come
sleep
stay
in the
in my
basement
book.
between the piles of books.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean before that event if people come over here. Mike, at least Mike will be here. He might trip on something, but I'll have to clean
That could be
before.
fun. I'm excited. He's going to that meetup this week, and whenever he's out traveling, and we text back and forth, and then he sends his itinerary to me, what he
Uh-huh.
did every day, so I get to live vicariously through him, through his meetups on text, and it's always a lot
Nice.
of fun.
Well,
Heck
hopefully
yeah.
he figures out recording. We can actually see more what he's going to
Yeah.
do on the channel too, and start putting out some videos of the meetup. So hopefully he got that GoPro figured out.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
All right. Shane, man, it's been great having you back in the locker room, buddy.
Yeah, man, I miss you guys.
Yeah. Come back anytime. And again, welcome Jefferson to the locker room. You're going to add a new flair of
Yes.
provocative comedy.
Yes. I'm gonna start
Yeah,
wearing
I think it's awesome Jefferson's here, man. Jefferson's gonna make a good addition to the locker room.
Yeah.
So
Well,
good.
thank you.
That was
I
a
hope
good
so.
choice from you guys.
All right. Alex, you want to take us out?
How do I do that? Just say we
Okay.
got nothing else. We got nothing.
Yeah, we got nothing. Everybody tune in every Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard. We'll see you next time right here on the Reseller Locker Room podcast. Good night, everybody. Or good
Later.
day or good afternoon or whenever the hell you watch this thing.
Love
All
you.
right.
Bye.